Y'all caught me just as I was making the last cut on that block, and I still have two more things to cut out. So, hey, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Happy Friday. If you are new here, my name is Becca, and I am certainly glad that you are here with us. And if you're not, welcome back. I'm glad you decided to come back on another Friday night. Tonight, we are going to be continuing the quilt that I started last week. And if you weren't here for that live stream, let me just tell you, it was a mess. I started the Jelly Roll Relish quilt from Fat Quarter Shop, which is linked in the description box down below. It's a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop, and I discovered that as I was sewing, for whatever reason, my blocks were coming out at about 10 1/4 instead of 10 1/2 inches squared. And so I fumbled with that a little bit, and then I made a decision towards the end of the live that I was just going to square all those blocks down to 10 1/4 inches, I think it was. It was going to take just a little slice off of each one, and so I trimmed down the couple of blocks that I had sewn live on the YouTube, and then I thought better of it. I was like, no, there's obviously something wrong. I did discover what I was doing wrong. I need to fix that. And I've gone back to the drawing board, and now I'm squaring them all to 10 1/2. And I can tell you confidently what was happening is, even though I had this lovely magnetic seam guide on my machine and the fabric is supposed to butt up against it, I was allowing it to go just a couple threads over. And so the seam guide was actually causing the fabric to curl up a little bit. And it only takes just a couple threads for something to be thrown completely off. Who would have thought? A couple threads threw it all off. So I fixed that. I actually took Ruby down. I took her apart, gave her some grease, some oil, some love, cleaned out the bottom area. I won't tell you how bad it was. It was a little, it might have been a fire hazard in there. But we won't tell anyone, right? Just between you and I. So I gave her a good cleaning. She is humming beautifully tonight. And where I am picking up is sewing, after I cut these two pieces, I'm going to sew my last strip set together, cut that down, and then we're going to start putting these blocks together into a quilt. And so while I am preparing to do that, I just want to say hi to everyone in the chat. What just happened here? My thread went for a hiatus, like it went on a journey. Let me just pull it until it's back where it needs to be. The fabric got caught on it. I have been using this extended, this external thread stand, which I love. It's from Dritz, I think. I don't even know. I bought it on Amazon, and it's sitting right up here, right off camera. You can't really see it, but the reason why I'm doing that is because I have switched to using cones of thread. My friend Mary does this. Every time I see her, she's always sewing from a big cone. And I was like, if I'm always sewing with the same color, why don't I do the same thing? So I have a large cone of 50 weight Aurifil color 6722, because that is my piecing color, right over there. And I've got two more down here on the shelf underneath my machine so that I have it when it's ready to go. We've got lots of folks in the chat tonight. Looks like West Virginia has popped in. Virginia is here. Michigan is here. I see some folks from hot and humid Florida are here already. Eager Golden Retriever says, hi, Becca. The more I watch you, the more I'm excited for the next time. Love your antics. Glad somebody does. You're either going to laugh or you're going to cry. I choose to laugh. Meg says, hi everyone, channeling Becca. I am going to finish putting my Billy bookcases together tomorrow for my sewing room. Yay! I'm so excited for you. Becca, you made a genius recovery. Thank you. I don't remember exactly what I did last week, but I remember having, this. Yes. So last week, you'll have to go watch the end of the live stream to see. This is the ruler that I ended up deciding to square up all of my things for, all of my blocks for, but I realized the markings on it weren't hitting my eye the right way. And so I pulled some masking tape. I actually have some right here, and I put it on here, and I discovered that if I put it on the underside of the ruler, it acts as almost like an instant block lock, because the fabric hits just slightly up against that tape. So I don't have to worry about looking at anything. I just move the ruler until it locks into place. Am I doing that this week? No, I peeled it off because my markings were at 10 1/4 and I went back to 10 1/2, and I just haven't put it back on. But trust me, that is a technique I will be using a whole lot in the future. Looks like we've got a few folks in the chat giving some tips for you. One of them is from Chris. She says, if you put a large cone in a cup, it will solve everything. Well, I spent $10 on a thread stand, so there you go. California is also in the house. We see some folks from Connecticut, Kentucky, Pittsburgh, Washington State, Texas, Alabama, Minnesota, Battle Creek, Michigan. I know where that is. Mount Vernon, New York, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Nevada, like lots of you. Columbus, Ohio, Salem, Virginia. Okay, we got all 50 states in the chat. Hey, if your state is not represented, let us know. I'm just kidding. Tell me what states aren't here. So tonight I am going to continue that quilt that we started last week, and I'm really excited about that. Also, do you know what else I'm excited for? What is it, like 3 weeks from right now? I will be on a ship with some of you headed to Alaska, and I'm really excited about that because I'm just going to show you guys a little thing. Listen, my husband has been saying for about 2 years, I want a 3D printer. I want a 3D printer. And that's not his real voice, but you get the gist. He's been talking about how he wants a 3D printer. And this year he finally took the plunge and got a 3D printer. And so it came like last week or something. And we've been playing around with it and trying to get to know the software. It's a little technically complex, but I'm here for the challenge. But we have been playing with it. Ian's even been over running some stuff. In fact, he ran this little thing for me today. And I want to show you a couple of the things that I 3D printed. I'm going to take you to the overhead camera. The first one that I want to show you is this little sign that he had sitting on the bed of my machine that says out of order. I don't know why he did that. I've been sewing. It's been working. Is this his way of telling me that my Bargello isn't done and I need to get to work? Because I kind of feel like it is. Then the other thing that we printed is this cute, and it's a little hard to see on camera, but in person you can see it. These are little challenge coins that we 3D printed that said cruising together, and it has Alaska, and it's my very favorite blue that it's printed on. So it is a little hard to read, but it you can see it in person. But we 3D printed these because I'm going to be giving all of the cruisers one of these when we get on the boat. I'm really excited about that. And then I'm also 3D printing something else to put in everybody's little goodie bag that I hope they'll love. I need that little sign, the out of order sign. I know. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's great. And I bet we could do like different things on it too. Bet we could change the text, but so cute. So it sits right here to remind me that my machine is fine, but I'm out of order. This whole room is out of order. Yeah, okay, that's enough. Let's get to picking out our last strip set. I'm going to grab this pretty one, this pretty one, and this pretty one. And then I'm going to grab 2 whites. If you missed how I put these strip sets together last week, you'll get to see it right now because this is the last one I gotta make. What I'm essentially doing is grabbing 3 print fabrics and 2 background fabrics, and I'm just alternating them. So I'll have print, background, print, background, print. And then I'm pressing them underneath, I'm pressing the seams underneath the print fabrics. And then I'm putting a bit of starch in there because I'm not starching my fabric before I'm sewing since I was using a jelly roll. And then I'm subcutting from each of these strip sets 2 10.5-inch squares and 2 4.5 by 10.5-inch rectangles. And I'm setting them over there. And so this is the last strip set I should have to piece together to make the things. So I also know that Alicia has no power tonight, so don't think she'll be in the chat. And Mary is taking care of some family business, so she may not be in the chat either, which means, you guys, it's just us. No one else is here to moderate me. No one else is here to tell me what to do. It's just us, which means I could potentially miss something that you're trying to get me to see. So if you don't mind, if there's something you need me to see, please type @SewBecca somewhere in the message so that it visually pops on my end. And I will try to pay attention to the chat as it's going. Kelly says, I am about out of order for tonight. I may be moving to the bed to relax. Ziva and I were out all afternoon with appointments and errands. Are you excited for the cruise, Kelly? I am. Hello from Massachusetts. Hello. Hello. Joan says, we need a sign that says, gone shopping. How about one that says fabric hoarder? I also have been spending some time this week in the evenings watching TV with my husband. And my go-to handcraft while I'm doing that has been cross stitch. So I've picked up a new pattern called Songbird Sparrow by Beverly McCullough. And I've got the DMC floss for it, and I'm stitching that out as we're watching TV. And I am loving how this is coming together. I only have a little bit done because I just got started. I'm also trying to organize all of my cross stitch stuff so that I have it ready to go. But I kind of bounce between cross stitch and EPP for my portable handcraft. I'll be taking both on the cruise. I'm really excited because I also found a couple of Alaska themed cross stitch designs that I thought would be really fun to do while we're on the cruise, so I could have like a little memento that reminds me of it. One of them is called Pretty Little Seattle. That's the name of the pattern. You can find it on Etsy. It's a little cross stitch design of the Seattle skyline. And then there's another one that is the Glacier Bay National Park, and it has the icebergs. And then it has another version of that same one with an orca in the foreground. And so I got both of those, and I was like, I don't know which one I want to do, but now I have 3 to choose from. Alicia also wants to learn cross stitch while we're on the cruise, and so I'm going to bring a very beginner-friendly cross stitch for her with some pretty colors. I'll give her the floss, I'll give her some Aida cloth, I'll give her a hoop, I'll give her a couple of needles, a couple needle threaders. She already has the snips, and she'll be good to go. It's almost like diamond painting with fabric and thread, to be honest. Oh, there she is. Did your power come back on, Leash? Oh, joining for my phone for a few powers out. Got it. Sign up to Primrose Cottage's newsletter for cross stitch. First Thursday of each month, they send out, a free cross stitch pattern. Definitely will do that, Anne-Marie. Have to remember that. All right. You know what time it is. I'm getting a little warm. Alicia said, ha ha ha, beginner friendly. Alicia said it's been an awful week for her, and she knew what would make her happy seeing all of you. It has been a pretty tough week for her. She's had a lot going on, so I turned a fan on towards me a little bit because I'm a little warm, but I'm a little cold. It's a whole thing. If you can hear the wind noise in the mic, let me know. I don't think you can, but I certainly don't want you hearing that in your ear the entire live stream. So just gonna look. Ooh, Anne-Marie said that the design for this month is really good. Can you forward me the design, Anne-Marie? info@sobecca.com. And I'll sign up for the newsletter, but I'm afraid if I sign up for the newsletter, I won't get this month's design. My nose itches. The power just came back on. Woohoo! Alicia said, y'all are good luck charms. Alicia, did you hear the beginning of the live stream when I showed everybody one of the things that I'm making for the cruise? Because I actually haven't even told you this while we talked on the phone this week. Just a quick yes or no in the chat. Let me know. So Becca, any new mini quilt block patterns coming soon? I saw people asking for that, Joy. And I've forgotten all about doing those. So yeah, we'll get another one down. Let me get through the cruise, because quite honestly, well, maybe not. I don't know. It's either soon. I can't promise it'll be in the month of August, but maybe in the month of September. Hey Day, how are you? Wait. Oh, Donna hasn't left yet for Michigan, right? She's not with you yet? Golden Retriever says last week Menasha was hit with double tornadoes. Wisconsin does not ever get that kind of weather, but nonetheless, the town's been suffering for almost 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. Mary is asking if I'm using jelly roll or scraps. I am actually doing 2 jelly rolls, a solid jelly roll and then a print jelly roll. Day says that she is doing great and Donna will be there with her on Sunday. Yay! I hope you guys have a blast together. Do hubbies go on cruise too, or just the girls? So my husband is not going, but Alicia's husband is. You are welcome to always bring a spouse or a significant other, or just room with another quilter, up to you. For me personally, Jason would love to go, but unfortunately, because of family obligations, he can't go. So it'll be just me going. And I'm sad because I would love to be able to take my husband on that trip, but it's just not in the cards for us. Thank you, Liz. Do you guys like my hair? My hair this is how you know I'm going to get stuff done tonight, because this is my no nonsense, not messing around hair. That's what this is. It's called I was too lazy to do anything with it and I threw it on top of my head. Oops, got a little crease in there because I went too fast. One more seam and then I can subcut this and we can move on. Yes, Tiffany's husband is going. Yep. Scott will be there too. Tiffany and Scott will both be on the Alaskan cruise. People are excited to meet Scott in person. So that'll be fun. I know they're excited to meet Tiffany too, but Scott and Tiffany will definitely be there. I don't think they're planning to get off of the boat at all. They'll be staying on the ship. So when people are doing the ports of a call excursions, I'm pretty sure she will be enjoying the ship to herself and probably getting a lot of sewing done. Mary is joining us from Washington and wanted to say hello to everyone. She hasn't been here in a while, so she's saying hey. Hello, Mary. Bye. Eagle River says, I'm leaving now, but I'll be watching tomorrow when it's a better time. God bless. Good night. Ooh, my leg itches. After I get this one cut, then I'll show you all of the blocks that I have subcut so you guys can ooh and ah over the fabric the same way I have been. And then we'll take a look at the pattern together, figure out what my next steps are, and we'll start working on the next step of the quilt. But before I subcut this, I do need to press it with some starch. I've been using some, gosh, what's the name of it? Faultless. I've been using Faultless to put some body into these pieces. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh boy. Oh boy. I guess I'm not. I can feel it tickling my nose though. Some fabric dust got up there. Oh no, Susan, she said I missed a lot of last week's live because my internet was out and it used way too much phone data. Hey, no problem. It happens. This week is the last week of summer vacation before Zoe goes back to school on the 24th. So next week is her last week of summer vacation. And then she'll be starting 10th grade. Can you guys hear the sound of the iron when I'm pressing? Or is it just like dead silence? See if I read any books this week. Nope, I haven't been doing any reading, but I have been listening to some podcasts. I've really been catching up. One of the podcasts that I really like listening to right now, I've been listening to it for years, but it's Crime Junkies. It's true crime. Oh, I love me some true crime. It's a little bit much. So I've been listening to those. Then I listened to an episode on some podcast, I don't remember the name of it, about Alcatraz. I've always wanted to visit Alcatraz. Maybe one day I'll make it to San Francisco. All right, this is now pressed, so we're going to subcut out our pieces, and then I'll show you all the fabric. It's silent. Oh, okay. Am I imagining that you changed your setup? No. I mean, since when? All right, this is 10.5 inches, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Your ironing stand looks shorter. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, there have been changes. It just depends on when you're referencing. Like a year ago, this probably wasn't here, but it's been here for a few weeks, maybe even a few months. You might just not have noticed it because I don't do a ton of pressing over here. And a lot of times I'll do it like this and you won't notice because I'll be in this setup, but the first part of the live, I had the camera focused on me. I used to have this table over here, and I brought the file cabinet that goes with this over here, and I've got my pressing station, and I've got my everything else station. I love having a U-shaped desk. Okay, and now I'll cut my 4.5 inches. So we've got somebody joining. Susie says, hi, I'm late. What pattern are you doing? So it's in the video title. The link is in the description box down below. It is the Jelly Roll Relish pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. I will grab a link for it and put it in the chat, and I'll pin it so that folks have it. Copy link address. Oops. I don't want to be from me. I want oh, that's way too many. I'm getting the link, just need a minute. Nope, that's still not it. It's too big. One of these days I will get it. That's what I'm looking for right here. There we go. And now I will pin that so that everybody can see it. Did it pin? Yep, sure did. Woohoo! All right, there we go. Okay, so that is, now I'm going to do the two 4.5 inch pieces. Bum, 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 bum. There we go. What I'm doing right now is cutting out a 9-inch wide section because 4.5 inches times 2 is 9 inches. That'll let me get 2 cuts out of that one nice straightened out piece. And so there are my 2 rectangles. And then this piece is scrap, which is great because I have a whole pile of these over here. So if I find that any of my blocks are miscut or I need an extra cut or something, I can go into that pile. So let me show you the blocks that I have made, because this is the best part, isn't it? For every strip set that I have represented, I have rectangles and squares of the same fabric. So I'm just going to kind of go through and show these to you. I'm going to show the blocks, the squares rather, because I feel like the squares are going to give you a better representation of the fabric. They're a little bit bigger so you can see it. So those, there's 2. Here's 2. I'll go this way so that they're kind of staggered. And then these are all of my rectangles. I'll set these over here. Here are a couple more. Alicia, why don't you put all the details for that in the chat? She's letting you guys know that there's a giveaway happening right now. So you can click on the link and figure all that out. I don't have the details for you. Hello, Pat. She says, good evening to Becca and all of our quilter friends. Hello. Oh, these are so pretty, aren't they? This is going to be such a bright and cheerful quilt. This one I just noticed has some salvage in it, so I might set that one aside and cut an extra one from my scrap pile so that I don't have to deal with the salvage being in the quilt. So I'll only have one of this one, but that's okay. I'm going to go back to this one because, well, which one? Ooh, I think I like this one better. Let's do this one. So we'll cut this at 10.5 inches. Making sure that my seams are nice and straight so that the block is straight and not crooked. There we go. I think it's time to change my rotary blade. Ooh, Nancy is here from hot and humid Ontario. No, thank you. There we go. And here we go. I don't think it's the giveaway through the raffle line, by the way. I don't remember what the name of the fabric is, but it is from Corey Yoder. I think I threw the tag away already, but if you go back and watch the live stream from last week, I show you the fabric, the tag of the jelly roll at the beginning of it. Sorry, guys. The giveaway is not a raffle. Sorry, guys. It's not a giveaway that I'm sponsoring. It's click the link that Alicia gave you. There's a link in the chat. Click that. I think you got to be careful about telling people there's a giveaway here because they expect it to look a different way, as you can see from the chat. My cat is watching you, Rose says. That's hilarious. All right, I have got these strips left over, and I think that's intended because I think when I pulled the fabric out to work on this, I was going to have 3 prints left over so that I could do the next step. So I know that I have 20 blocks and I actually have 20 of the rectangles. I only need 18 of them. So I've got everything that I need. I know this is probably fabric that I'm going to use in the next step. I also have the other half of my solid jelly roll. It's actually a tone on tone, which is also from Corey Yoder. And I've got that set aside that so we can use it. But let me get the pattern so we can see what our next step is, shall we? You know what? We can, let me see. Oh, hey, Canning Day. That's the name of the fabric line. I had the tag, Canning Day. Hey, how about that? How about that? All right, next steps in this. We are going to cut our fabric D. This is the front. So we made these blocks. And now we're going to put those blocks into the quilt and we're going to change them. So some are going up and down and some are going side to side. But in between each one, we're going to put a fabric D, which is a background strip that is cut at 10.5 inches. So I know I'm going to need, if I look over here at fabric D, I need, I only need, 15. I need 15 total of those. 3 strips should get that for me. So I'm going to take this fabric, I'm going to set it up here, and then I'm going to pull out 3 strips. These are all tone on tone. I don't care what I get, I'm just grabbing. So I'm going to pull these 3, I'm going to starch them, and then I will cut them into 10.5 inch chunks using my Quilter Select ruler because I don't need it to be a square. I just need to, I can use the other way. And then I'll have my sashing pieces that go in between the blocks, and we can start putting this baby together. I don't know that I'll get through the borders tonight, but I might get the center of the quilt pieced. I'm going to let the faultless soak into that fabric while I start the next one. Hello, Debbie from Virginia Beach. We're going to go with a different print because that one has words on it, and I don't want all of them ones to have words, so we'll do a little scrappy. Keep getting air and not any starch because the can is getting a little low. That's why you see me keep spraying the same spot like 2 or 3 times. Awesome. Debbie says, I am using the Purple Hobbies half square marking template you showed, and so far I am loving it. Awesome. I am sure Heather loves to hear that from you guys. By the way, if you don't know, Purple Hobbies has released a new tool that makes marking half square triangle units super easy and super fast and super accurate. It's a new product. She's called it the Speed Die, SPEE-DI, I believe that's what it is. And it's on her website, purplehobbies.com. And if you use the code SOBECCA, you'll get 20% off of any of your order on her website. I don't feel like any starch got in this end, so let me press that. We'll do this again. How many of you in the chat have done cross stitch before and like it? Like, put a heart in the chat if you love cross stitch, if you've done it and you like it. Put a smiley face in the chat if you have done it and you occasionally play with it. And then put an exclamation point in the chat if you have never done cross stitch. Let's see what we get emoji-wise coming through the chat. Karen says, hi, Becca. I've been meaning to ask you what kind of sewing machine you're using now. Remember, you used to sew on a Juki machine. I still do use the Juki, but I fell in love with the machine that you see sitting in front of you. This is a 1951 Singer 301. She is custom painted from a friend of mine's dad. I have called her Ruby because of her color. She is just a joy to sew on. So the story here is I went to a quilt retreat with, I was going to quilt retreats with my Juki. Love my Juki. Absolutely love it. But that thing weighs like 500 pounds. Might be exaggerating just a little bit. So I decided I wanted a travel machine that was light. And I've been toying with the idea of a featherweight. But the featherweight kind of moves a little slow. And I wanted something that was going to move faster. And so a friend of mine mentioned that I should get a 301. And so I found one on Facebook Marketplace for 50 bucks and I picked it up. I sent it off to have it custom painted and brought it back. And I had intended fully for this to be a travel machine. I set it up at my desk. I sewed a project on it and I fell in love with the feel and the sound of her that I just couldn't bear to put it away. So she has become my primary machine and it's been like 2 years now. So yeah, but the Juki's still here. She still gets quite a bit of use. Not on camera. She likes to work off camera type of girl. But yeah, love the Juki, love this. All right, these I don't need right now, so I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to put these over here so that I can cut. I'm going to grab my Quilter Select ruler so that stuff doesn't shift. Wow, I saw lots of hearts in the chat. Only do cross stitch if it's pre-print. So you like printed cross stitch, not counted cross stitch. Got it. Joan says, I tried, but I don't love it. Okay, so I'm taking these 2.5-inch strips that I just starched. I'm folding them in half and making sure that the raw edges are nice and lined up. That's going to let me get 2 cuts of each strip out of each one of these strips when I make a cut. So every time I slice, I'm going to get 6 pieces of fabric. I'm going to need 15 all together. So we'll see how that works. I feel like I might need to get another strip, but we'll see. These are going to be 10.5 inches, it said. So I'm going to line this up right here. 10.5 inches. I'm going to bring that over. This is selvage over here, so I'm leaving some space for those salvages. I will flip this around. I put the folds off to the right because that'll let me get a little bit more cut out of that if I want to. This I need to cut another. Are we sure it's 10.5? Yeah, it is. We're not going to get 15. We're going to need another strip. Yeah, we're going to need another strip. The pattern says to pull 3. I'm going to tell you, you need 4. You need 4. That's cut. That's cut. This one down here was not cut, so I'm just going to cut right on that fold. There we go. So I'm just going to double check. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2. Yeah, there's 6 in each one. So I'm going to get 1 more strip. I'm going to starch that, and I will cut that. I will cut 3. No, I'll end up cutting my next piece. Oh, this, I already have this print. I wanted it to be scrappy, so I can't pull the same tone on tone. I've got 3 different tone on tones over there. Ooh, this one's pretty. I'll pull this one. Yeah. Anne says, I did, and I loved cross stitch for years, but I do some, Maureen Bixby does not like cross stitched. For those of you that are watching the replay, the giveaway that Alicia is talking about in the chat is not a live stream giveaway. This is open to everybody. So if you are interested, she is giving away some of her personal fabric to a winner. She has put in the live chat the link for all of the details for the giveaway. And at the end of this live stream, I will copy and paste that link in the description box for you so that you can pop over and check it out. I have none of the details because this is totally sponsored by her. I have no part in this, so I don't know what's going on. Linda is asking, Becca, what is the size of the Quilter Select ruler that you recommend for a first-time trial several weeks ago? Oh, hi, Linda. Did I see you at a quilt shop? It's the 8x12 or the 6x12, either one of those. Debbie says, years back, I used wasted canvas to cross-stitch designs on sweatshirts for my 8 nieces and nephews. Very cool. All right. This will give me 4 more. I don't need all 4 of these, but I'm just going to put them in a pile. So here we go. These are all of my sashing pieces. Now we're going to start putting the quilt together. So I'm going to take the rectangles out. These are going to be used for the border. I don't need them right now. If you look at the pattern, what I'm going to do is essentially take the blocks and put them together, orienting them in different directions. So some of them will be horizontal, some of them will be vertical. So it'll be vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal. We're going to have 4 in each row, and we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, which is why we need 20 blocks. In between each of those, though, we're going to put one of these 10.5-inch stripes. So we're going to start. My only rule here is that I'm not going to put 2 right next to each other. I'm not going to overthink the placement of the fabric. I could, if I wanted to, take this over to my floor or a design wall and meticulously critique the placement of every single one of these blocks, but I don't have time for that. I just want the quilt pieced. So I am just pulling from my stack of squares, and we are just going to put this together. So I'm just going to make sure that I am making 5 rows of 4, and I am alternating up, down, up, down. The difference here is that for the odd rows, I need to start with the vertical, and for the even rows, I need to start with the horizontal. However, take a look at the way this is laid out. Do you notice that all of them have exactly 4 pieces? 2 of them are horizontal and 2 of them are vertical. So if I piece all of these rows exactly the same way, when I put this together, I just need to turn every other row. That works because it's an even number of blocks that are orienting 2 different layouts. If it was an odd number of blocks, I would not be able to do that. Oh, Linda says, sorry, I'm not the Linda you met in the quilt shop. Aw, sad. All right, so there's the first one. I've put my sashing onto the right. So now I'm going to grab another piece. I'm only going to make sure that the next one that I put in is not the same block. So I could put this one in. And like I said, we're not overthinking it. We're just going to sew them together. So I'm going to sew this to that sashing. I am pressing all of my blocks underneath the sashing piece, and I'm just finger pressing. There's starch in all of this fabric, so the finger pressing is going pretty nicely. I've got 2 blocks, so now I'm going to add another sashing piece. I'm going to go in here and try to grab a print that I don't want to use the last print that I had. So I'm going to use this one with the words on it. You guys can't really see the prints because they're tone on tone. Just trust me when I tell you what they are. Oh, I'm going to love this quilt. I will finger press this underneath the sashing. We're going to grab our next block. Set these over here. Water break. This goes this way. Because I have red up there, I'm just gonna, oh, nope, I'm not. It goes this way. Remember to alternate every other Every block gets alternated 90 degrees. One more sashing for this. Each row is only going to take 3 sashing pieces. I'm going to go with this pretty floral. And then I'll put one more block, and then this row will be done. And we'll move on to row number 2. These rows go together super quick. Honestly, had I not had the fluster last week during the live stream about the sizing, I probably could have had this quilt finished in just a few hours. This might have been one that I started on Friday night and was able to finish on Saturday. I think next week we're going to do a 3-yard quilt. I've got a couple 3-yard bundles that I have had sitting on my shelf together waiting for me to pull a 3-yard project to work on. So I don't know which pattern it's going to be, but I do know it's going to be a 3-yard quilt. You may see how I'm turning these around. Sometimes I'll bring it in and I'll turn it upside down. That's only because I'm just looking to see if, based on what I have right here, I want to change the orientation of the fabric. That's as much thought as I'm putting into the layout of this quilt. Just trying to not have 2 colors next to each other if I can avoid it, but I'm not going to overthink it. I'm literally picking the blocks up from the order that they're coming up on the table. And I'm just, the only change I'm going to do is just turn it upside down or turn it around, turn it 180 degrees if that fabric, if like there's too much red in one spot or too much yellow in one spot. But that's it. Like that's the only thought I'm doing. This is my first row. Let me finger press that and then I'll pull it through so you can see. We have the first block, our sashing, our second block, our sashing, our third block, our sashing, and our fourth block. Isn't that pretty? And whether or not this makes it in the top row of my quilt, TBD, because all the rows are going to be the same. So I'm just going to set this over here on my little put it in the quilt pile, and we're going to pick up another block. By the way, remember all of my blocks are in sets of 2. So I'm picking one up and then I'm creating a pile of the duplicate because that way I know I'm not going to put 2 in the same row. So here's one. Ooh, I love this block. Look at that. We're going to do these. I'm going to put a sashing in between. Leslie says, I love the peacefulness of cross stitch and the beautiful new designs that are just so gorgeous and so much better than the 1980s. And she also said, talk to you later. Bye. Bye. I wanted to love cross stitch, but every cross stitch design that I saw in shops was always kind of like outdated color palette wise and drawing wise, and it was not something I was inspired to want to do at all. And then I discovered Lori Holt's palette and Beverly McCullough and Fat Quarter Shop. Like Kimberly Jelly, her palette taste is very similar to my own. So like if she's gonna, the colors that she would lean towards are the same colors I would want to work with. And when I started seeing these more simple, more modern, more fun designs, I was like, okay, I want to work with those colors. I want to make that fun design. So I'm happy that I got into it. I started off by working on 10 count Aida because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to see the holes, but I am now working on, I think, 18 count Aida, and I love it. It takes your eye a little getting used to, but once you do, it's great. Magnifying glass and a lot of light helps though too. Do you want to see my my whip, my cross stitch whip. Put a smiley face in the chat if you want to see my cross stitch whip. I tell you to put something else, but I don't know if there's any sewing related emojis. Put an emoji in the chat. Pick one. I don't care what it is. Light it up. And if you do, I'll go get my cross stitch work in progress and I'll show you what it looks like. I used that one already, so this is my next one. This quilt is from a jelly roll, yep. So no sashing at the beginning nor the end. That's correct. Sashing only in between the blocks. When we're done putting the center together, we're going to use our background strips, those white strips that we just made the sashing from, to put together an inner border, which kind of gives you that white space before you get to the piano key border. So there's two borders on this technically. Your inner border, which is just your white strips, and then your piano key, which is made up of those rectangular units that you cut up. Oh, I just looked up and there's like 2 pages of emojis. Y'all want to see some projects, huh? You know what? We're going to do it this way. All right. Oh, blue thimbles. Yeah, Terry, get those thimbles. All right, let me finish this row and then I need more water. So I'll take a bio break to refresh my water cup. I'll probably run an ad at that point. So this would be a great time for you to use the restroom if you need to. And I'll also go grab my cross stitch projects. Notice I said plural because I've got a couple to show you. And I'll do a little bit of show and tell with my cross stitch, but let me get this row put together first. As hand coordination has decreased from Karen, I now cheat by creating cross-stitch embroidery designs, and it's opened a whole new world. Ooh, tell us more about that. That sounds interesting. I've been wanting to talk to you guys about my latest obsession of cross stitch, but I've been a little afraid to because I have been afraid that people are gonna be like, what about EPP? You got us started on EPP and now you're telling us to do cross stitch? Hey, listen, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you where I'm at. All right, let's see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 is the last one. Here we go. I love doing all the things. I bounce for piecing, that I'm usually primarily piecing, but I love having a portable project, and there's just like, I can't do knitting, I can't do crochet. I have tried, but I just don't love the feel of yarn. Now there's some yarn that I do like working with, but I haven't. Maybe I will in the future. I'm a big fan of, I'm a big advocate of never saying never. However, as of this stage of my life, I have not been bit by the knitting or crochet bug. And so that's not really something that I like to do for handwork, but I really love working on EPP and cross stitch. I try a little bit of embroidery, but I find that it's not as tidy and clean for me as cross stitch or EPP is. And so I get the same creative scratch from working with cross stitch and hand EPP. Listen, here it is, okay? When I want to make a quilt, when I want a piece, when I want to work on something, I'm usually going to go here. However, I love to create and I can't always sit in front of my sewing machine. And that's where these hand projects come into play. I if you look at me like 2 or 3 years ago, I would have told you nothing to do with hand. It's a 4-letter word. Absolutely not. No way, no way, no way. However, it has its place. So hand piecing and hand work is not going to replace this. I am not going to sew an entire big quilt like this together when I have my sewing machine. But when I'm out and about, or I'm on a trip, or I'm spending time with my family because I can't ignore them all the time and sit in my sewing room, though I would love to, I want to still be creative. And so I've got both of those outlets. For EPP, or English paper piecing, this is a method where you can take fabric and wrap it around cardstock shapes and you sew those together to essentially piece together a quilt. And because you're doing hand piecing and the technique that you're using, you get some really interesting shapes and angles that you can't get just by sewing straight lines at your sewing machine. That scratches the same desire to continue piecing and building a quilt top, though it's a lot slower, but it's there. The other project that I like working on is cross stitch because that is a little bit less intimidating. It doesn't require as heavy of a technique. It's not as, I don't think it's as challenging as EPP. I feel like it's a little bit more relaxed, and it is literally like diamond painting or coloring with thread. That's it. You're following a pixel layout, either a design that you drew and colored in, one that was stamped onto your canvas or your fabric or whatever it is you're doing, or you're just following a graph and you're just coloring in by number with thread, and it's amazing. Once I learned for cross stitch that all I need is a little bag with my Aida cloth and the few spools of thread that I am working on and my pattern, it became more portable for me, because what I was doing is trying to take every single color of embroidery floss with me everywhere I go or went, because I wasn't sure what color I was going to need. So now I've just made little project bags for each of the projects. So the one that I'm working on, Songbird Sparrow, it only has like 10 colors in it. And so I've grabbed those 9 or 10 little bobbins and I just carry those with the project. Boom, done. I also tend to gravitate towards patterns that don't have 100 colors in them. I'm not trying to make this super realistic. I just want to color simply. So there you go. Anyway, this is my row number 2. Let's take a quick bio break. I'm going to go get some more water and I'm going to grab my cross stitch projects and come back and show you guys. So I will be right back. All right, I'm back and I have got a whole haul to talk to you about. Maybe I won't get the quilt finished tonight because maybe we do the haul and do a little chit chat and I finish this up tomorrow, but I'm super excited. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, first off, let me just show you a little bit about my water. I have got a cup of ice water. I know you don't really care, but I'm going to make you learn about this anyway. I have been having a hard time just drinking water as much as I should. And so I've started leaning in towards flavor packets just to give it a little bit of something extra. A half a packet goes a long way, honestly. But what my favorite flavor packets are right now are these true lemon flavored lemonades. And what I have in here tonight is peach lemonade. It's great. It's just a little bit of flavor, a little bit sweet. If it's too sweet for you, use half a packet. I have been known to get my 40-ounce tumbler. I put one in a 20-ounce cup, so it's a little stronger than normally it is. But I have been known to get my 40-ounce tumbler and put one packet in for the entire 40 ounces. So half a packet for a 20-ounce cup would probably be fine. Okay. First, let me talk to you about what I have learned for my cross stitch setup. First, I have learned that I am a digital pattern girl because I don't want to mark up the paper. And sometimes copying them can be a little difficult. So I have invested in Pattern Keeper, which is an Android only application. So I bought a very inexpensive Samsung Galaxy tablet to store my iPad, or to store my Pattern Keeper patterns on. And this is what Pattern Keeper looks like. This is why I'm in love with it. You import your PDF. This is the pattern that I'm working on right now. And when you zoom in, you can start to see all the different little things. And so you can pan around, zoom in, make it as big as you want. And then you click on this little highlight icon up here to select the squares. And you can either choose the parking method or the whatever. You can mark it as done down here, and then it kind of blocks those out so you know they're all done. And if you need to go back in because you frogged it, you just click the little frog icon. Get it? Like, so cool, so cool. This is new to me, but it has made my cross stitch life so much easier. So now let's talk about the projects. First up, I worked on this. This was one of the blocks for the Beverly McCullough Needle Minder Club. Yeah. I finished this. Super excited with how it came together. Look at that. I love it. And the back side is not as tidy as it could be, but it's getting there. This is my second ever finished cross stitch project. You guys will remember that the first one was the flag that I did for month 1 of that Needle Minder Club. I don't know where it is off the top of my head. Otherwise I would show it to you, but she's lovely. So both of those gave me the confidence to try something bigger. And so now I'm doing a big project, not just a little block. And I've had this one on my shelves for a minute, but I finally got the threads for it. I am putting together Song Sparrow by Beverly McCullough for Flamingo Toes. That is what she looks like. So I have got have the pattern on my tablet, so I actually don't need that bag. This is my portable project. I take this, and I am using Q-snaps because I find I can leave it in the hoop a lot longer without it doing really horrible creases. And then I have this cute little bag that a friend made for me, and inside I've got a little needle case. It's got my needle threaders and a whole bunch of size 24 Bowen needles, tapestry needles. And then I've got all my floss on little bobbins with a pair of snips and a needle minder. And this is it. Like this is my setup. These are the only colors. By the way, I need to put this one on a different type of bobbin, which I have right here. I've been 3D printing these bobbins out. But these are the only colors that'll go in here. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 colors. That's it. That's it. I don't need to take my entire floss drawer. I can just take that. This is enough for the whole project. And then I do have, just so I don't have to keep flipping for it, I did take a minute to write down all of the DMC numbers and the symbol that's shown up on the chart, just so I can reference this quickly if I need to. Now, here's the piece de resistance. I'm starting from the middle of my pattern and working my way out. So I started from the middle and I started working on one flower. This is the first bit that I have done. This is all I did this week. I got my setup in order and then I started stitching this a couple days ago. And this is the back side. Look how tidy and neat that is. Y'all, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So this is why I love cross stitch for a portable project for me, because this doesn't really take a whole lot. If I wanted to, if I really needed to collapse down further, I could certainly take the Aida cloth out of this hoop and take apart the hoop and put it in here. And then all of my notions and everything, my project and everything would be in this bag. The only other thing that I would want is my tablet. That's it. That's it. That is my cross stitch setup. What do you guys think? It just feels like I need so much less stuff than I do when I'm putting together a big quilt. And that's kind of refreshing, to be honest. All right, let's do row 3. I find that I get a lot done in my cross stitch when we go in our RV. When I can't sew, I can at least cross stitch. Yes, I hear you, lady. Same. Well, I'm not in an RV, but you know, you get my drift. All right, so we said we're going to do all of these the exact same way because we're just going to turn them around, right? We'll sew this one on. I feel like I'm so close to getting these done. I want to at least get the center of the quilt made tonight. What do you guys think? I feel like I'm close and I can make it happen. And then tomorrow morning, while I'm having my cup of coffee in the morning, if I wake up early enough to see Sean do his brekkie, I will pop into Sean's live stream, watch him, and listen to him and his whoever he's going to have on, and work on the piano keyboarder. And then maybe I can get this loaded on the long arm while I work on some other things this weekend. Try a 26 needle. Okay. Why 26 is bigger, right? Nope, I already sewed that on. We just need this piece. Donna says, I am just starting with my first cross stitch. Nancy said, you can do it. That's right, Nancy Jean. Nancy Jean number 2. Right? That was the name we came up with for you, right? Guess who, Nancy? "26 is smaller." I knew that. Because EPP, the bigger the number, the smaller the needle. But for some, the look that you see right now on my face is the look of duh. For some reason, I was thinking the bigger the number, the bigger the needle. And I was like, the 22 feels so big. Or the 24 feels big. And I bought some 22s. And I was like, this feels horrible. I'm going to go back to the 24s. I'm going to try the 26. In fact, what size? Oh, I don't have the bag in here. I have the bag of them in the other room. I'll try the 26. I think those are 24s. Do you have a specific needle brand that you swear by? I'd love to know. Nancy was like, yep, that's my name. That's what I thought. It's been a while since I called you Nancy Jean. Donna loves her 26 needles. Anne Marie likes her 26 needles. Listen, I think your Hemingway with Velcro on it for your tablet and some Velcro on the bottom of that bag of goodies. Oh my goodness, Terry, what an awesome idea. So she's saying to take a Hemingway pouch, put some Velcro on it so that I can, and put some Velcro on the bottom of this, so my tablet can go in the Hemingway pouch and this can go right on top. You know what else I could do? Now that I know what I'm doing, I can make another one of those Atlas pouches. I gave mine away. I don't remember who has it. I think Alicia or maybe Mary has it. Somebody has it. I made one and I gave it away. I could make another one and that would hold everything because it could hold the tablet plus my hoop, my skeins, my notions, and my Ada cloth. Maybe I will do that. I just used that one, so we'll use this. Nancy said, you are the only one that calls me by that. Well, it's because you shared the name with my mom. So you get to have that privilege. Guess what time it is? Time to take the jacket off. Rolene says she loves the Bowen needles. Okay. Leslie likes Peace, Banker, Peace. Banker's needles are very nice. Okay. Jeannie says, sorry, but have I missed Becca saying anything about the seam guide that she is using? It looks interesting. Can anyone bring me up to date on it? This is just a little seam guide that I bought on Amazon. You can just search for seam guides on Amazon and you'll see, I'll just go to the overhead view or the camera view. You'll see them. They look just like this. The neat thing about it is the magnet's very strong, so it holds onto the machine really nicely, but also it allows you to do curved piecing and stuff. Go check out Amazon, you'll find it. I don't have a link for you, so I can't get that right now. But I do think it might be linked on my website. If you go to sewbecca.com, everything that I use in my sewing room, I try to keep on my what I use page so that if you ever need to grab a link, it's all in one spot for you. And you don't have to dig around in all the different videos to see what I recommend. Those are my go-to things. Things that I highly recommend. Doesn't mean you need them, but if you're looking to buy, please Maker's needles. Okay. Please Maker's needles. Not Peace. Got it, got it. Look at project portfolios. They are awesome. Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch has videos. Okay. Yes, it does, Nancy. It makes you special. Between needles are the same. Larger number, shorter needle. How heavy is your singer for travel? 11 pounds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Third row. I'm just shuffling these up because they're the leftover pile in the same order as the other ones were. So I just want to make sure that I am taking the time to scrap them up a little bit so that when I grab them, I'm not making the same exact rows all over again. I just realized that after I'm done sewing these rows together, I have to create the sashing that goes in between the rows. So I might not be as close to having the center done as I thought I would be, but we'll see where we get. I only have 2 more rows to make, and they're just a few seams, so I feel like I can at least get the rows done. You're welcome. Ginny said thank you for the info. You're welcome. Yep, that's right. Deb says Amazon has those seam guides. I got mine 3 for $10, so my niece could have one also. Exactly. Those are the ones. A few years ago, I bought one for everybody for a quilt retreat. I kept 2 for myself. And they come in fun colors, so that's nice. The beautiful thing about this quilt is when I put it together, you're going to lose the block. You're not going to see blocks in here. You're going to see strips of fabric. So even if I do happen to get 2 blocks somewhere next to each other, I don't think that's going to pop out at you. I think you're just going to see the strips. One more row to make after this, and then I'll have all 5 of my rows done. Hey, there's Mary. Hey, Mary Berry. How much sashing? 2.5 inches. I don't know. I don't know. It's in the pattern. It's over there. There's a teenage possum eating out of a cat's food dish on the back. Okay. And somebody said you might want to get a book ring to put your floss bobbins on so you don't lose them. 26 needle holds the floss better. I like the gold eye needles. Thank you for all of the info. I actually do have a book ring that I was planning to put those bobbins on. I just haven't done it yet. Because I could see me losing a bobbin. Question, Becca, did you rip out the blocks that you made last week to get the correct size? Nope. I realized that the fabric or the pattern has us making very generous pieces, and I would be able to salvage the quilt by just cutting an extra few blocks from some of the strips. And so I left them. They're actually in my scrap pile, and I just cut extras of some of the strip sets. And I feel like the scrap pile is actually pretty big, and I could use to make an interesting story for the back of the quilt, which is probably what I'm going to do. I remember when I first started quilting, one of the first quilts that I made, I took advice from Karen Brown over at Just Get It Done Quilts, and she talked about this idea of an after quilt, which is where she takes scraps from the quilt that she made to build the back. And I think I want to do that with this. It probably won't be the entire back that I make, but it would be really fun if I could do a strip or like a center part of the back that is reminiscent of what's on the front. I think that would be fun. Oh, awesome. Lisa says, I posted my last cross stitch project in the Facebook group. Why don't we, I will finish this row, and then why don't we go take a look at the Facebook group and see what you guys have been working on. And by that time, we will call it a night. But I do have a feeling that this quilt is going to be finished before Ian's live stream on Sunday. So you'll want to keep an eye on social media, because once the quilt is pieced, I will post a photo of it somewhere. Facebook probably, and here on the community tab on YouTube. Maybe even Instagram. Hey, Karen. Hey, Norma. Hello. So it's 1, 2, 3. I gotta do one more white, and then I'll do my last block in this row. So if you guys have photos you want to share with the rest of the world, go upload them to the Facebook group. I'll get that pulled up and we'll share screens in about 2 minutes. And then Mary, if you don't mind, we're going to do this earlier. Alicia's doing a giveaway on her, like she's got a link for it and everything. We've already done all those announcements, but why don't we do a live stream giveaway? If you can queue up 1 or 2 and then just do a scrap bag, a mystery bag giveaway, we can do that while we're looking at Facebook so people can get their tickets and enjoy the show and tell. If you're at a computer, that is. I'm assuming you are, because you're typing a lot in the chat. FYI, there's a shop in Delavan, Illinois that had quite a few Singer 301 machines for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Ooh, send the link to me at info@sewbecca.com. I'd love to see those. I wanted to make this quilt. I have TP prints and TP dots. Is it too much? No, I don't think so. I think you do what works for you. All right, I have got my 5 rows all sewn together, and then the next step is going to be putting these rows next to each other with the sashing in between. And somebody was asking me how much sashing, so I'm actually going to look at the pattern and get the details for the sashing for in between these rows so that I can get myself set up for success tomorrow morning. I'll be putting this together in the morning over a cup of coffee and then working on the piano keyboarders tomorrow, because I am not tackling that on a live stream because I'd like to keep my hair. Okay. All right, here are my 5 rows. Nope, that's 4 of them. Here's my 5th one. All right. Now, taking a look at the pattern, it says, if you take a look at the illustration, the fabric that goes in between is fabric F, and it looks like it's F1. So if we flip back over here, fabric F is going to be, okay, so it wants you to take 11 2.5-inch by width of fabric strips and use them for the sashing in between the rows. I'm showing you and you're not even here. If you take a look here, F is in between each of these rows on the pattern. A little hard to see that far away, but there you go. F is in between there. And if you notice, that is labeled F1. And then when you go over here, you've got F2, 3, and 4 kind of labeled over here for the inner borders. So the F strips that they have you cut, there's 7 strips that they want you to bring. Those 7 are going to cover the inner, the sashing between the rows as well as your inner border. And it looks like you're going to need 3 pieces of F that go in between here. Now the trick is hold. Yep. Okay. Okay. It wants you to take it wants you to take those F strips and you're going to sew them together to get pieces that measure this size. So you're going to need 4 pieces that measure 2.5 inches by 46.5 inches. And that is exactly why I am not doing the sashing in between, because I was pretty sure that these rows were going to be wider than with the fabric strip, and I was going to have to do some piecing. So I will be doing that offline to get them where they need to be. When I do that, what I'm actually going to do is give all 5 of these rows a nice good press to get them nice and flat. I'm going to measure all 5 of them to make sure that they're about the same size. And then I will take my sashing and cut my sashing to be that. It should be the 46.5 inches if my seam allowance is true and I squared everything the way it needs to be. That'll allow me to pin the sashing in between the rows. And to pin, what I'm going to do is put a pin in the center of the sashing and a row, and then one on either end, and then distribute all the way out. That's going to help make sure that my sashing rows are the same size and it's keeping the pieced rows to the same width of the sashing. And then I'll do the same thing for the borders. Yeah, whatever, you don't care. Anyway, my rows are ready for the sashing. We'll work on that tomorrow. I do want to show you though, before I go to Facebook, because I've referenced this, my scrap pile for this quilt. These are all of my cutoffs. Some of them are big enough to make more blocks. This I'm not going to keep because why would I? But some of these are still pretty big size and can be used. Like I'm even going to keep that maybe. This one, probably not. All of these are good enough size. These are the blocks that I cut last week. These are all big enough that I can do something fun on the back. So lots of scrap for this quilt. I will set those right here, and that goes there. All right. Did we do all the things that I wanted to do before we go over to the Facebook group? I believe we did. So the next step for me is to get, if you starched, wait, before I jump into that, Melissa says, if you starched before cutting your fabric for the cruise, can you starch again while pressing the strip? Yes, you can. Ask me how I know. All right. I need to open Facebook. Guess what I don't have open? Facebook. Guess what doesn't want to open? Facebook. Oh my gosh. Facebook. All right. Got a couple new member requests. Carol and Kathy, I see you. I've got you in here. And now I'm going to come over here and click this little icon to share my screen. and we're going to take a look and see what y'all have been working on. I do want to pull this out though, because I want to see the live chat while I'm working, just to see if there are any comments. So I'll pull that over here, and I'll pull this over here. All right, here we go. I still apparently can't sort. You know, sometimes I can sort by new post, and sometimes I can't, and I don't know why. I don't know why it is that way. It's silly. But whatever. Somebody tell Facebook to get on their junk, please. Nope. Okay. I can't sort it over there either. All right. So we'll just go down, 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 down. Oh, by the way, Alicia wanted to highlight, she put this in here. There are several shops now in Michigan, I think about 4 of them, that are carrying my trellis garden pattern. And there will be more patterns going to more shops, including more than just that. So Melissa shared the marketplace link for the Singer 301 machines in Illinois. Ooh. Oh, wow. Oh, I think I want a black one. Oh, they're in such good shape. Oh, that's a blurry photo. Oh, they got a 2-tone one. Oh, I want the one in the middle. I want the one in the middle. They're $250 a piece. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I might have to go back and look at that later. Stop spending my money. Melody Slater says, finally got the last borders on this one. It is queen size, so the biggest project so far. I had to fold it over to get it on the design wall. That's really pretty, Melody. I see where you folded it right here, but we get the idea of what it is. Very nice. Davina says, my newest make in progress for a friend. The pattern is Party of 6 from Pat Speth, and I just have to sew the rows together. Very pretty. Rolene has made some lovely aprons. And she made some quilts that she donated for children that are battling cancer. Oh, thank you for doing that. I hope those quilts give them a nice hug. Oh, yes. Jocelyn says, here are some of the quilt tops I've been doing. I really want to do that show and tell quilt. That looks like so much fun. Oh, that's pretty. Hey, I know that panel. I worked with that panel a few years ago. Very pretty. Anne Marie has some projects that she's worked on. Also a picture of the rings that she uses for floss and its package. Rings are purchased from Amazon. So here, oh my gosh, I love your cross stitch. See, these are the types of cross stitch that I would do. I think the one in the lower left is my favorite. Is that done with variegated thread? Oh, okay. That ring will work better than the one that I had, because the one that I had was not great. It was kind of bulky, so I took them off. But I'll check those wire rings out. Susan says, what I have been working on during your live was inspired by a couple of quilts I saw at the Sisters Oregon Outdoor Quilt Show. Very pretty, Susan. Lisa Martin says the last cross stitch project that I made was in 1995. It took 9 months to make and it was done with cross stitching. Look at all those colors. That's so precious. I moved my sewing area upstairs and now I can have both machines out all the time without having to switch them. And I've been sewing in my sewing area since. Oh, I love that. Yes. Get it, girl. Rolene has 2 quilts that are being donated to raise funds for the homeless, not helpless. Oh, I like that. Deb has pictures. She says, usually I have a quilt and a cross stitch going. Oh, I like that one. I love your needle minder. Ooh, golf clubs. Oh, wow. Margot, this is her Alaska quilt on the design wall at a retreat. It sure was a challenge. I have all the rows sewn together and I'm ready to press and then add borders. I love how how you get like that circular look. It's an optical illusion. I love it. Aw, Chris made these this week. Super cute. I love it. Are those Lori Holt patterns? A crossbow phone wallet from Rolene. Tina is working on, or Tina is sharing the quilts that she worked on last week and this week. Wow. That's a lot of pieces. So is that. Oh my gosh, I really like the way those colors look against the black. Be interesting to see how you quilt it. Man, the black just makes those colors pop. And then we're back at the beginning of that post, okay? Ah, Melissa! She's been working on her cruise pre-work, 20 days. These are the fabrics for the Bargello that we'll be putting together. They look great! Barbara is working on Elizabeth Hartman's Guardian Angels, or sorry, she has finished it. A few weeks ago from Susan, I went to visit my daughter in Port Angeles. Together we went to Sequin. Oh, Skewin. What, I can't pronounce it. Anyway, they went there and she bought a couple half-yard pieces of fabric with lavender prints. And at home, she found a nice lavender blender to use. As one of the prints is directional, she couldn't do a rail fence, so instead she put white squares so she can embroider sprigs of lavender in between each square. Anne is sharing a very old cross-stitch pattern. I love that you're able to make it look like cursive with cross. Is that just doing one thread? Oh, also, I love that poem. Footprints in the Sand. Roberta is sharing this honor quilt for a fellow Meals on Wheels client who is a veteran. Ooh, almost finished from Anne. She says she just needs it bigger. Brenda is a ninth of the way done with this quilt. Carol, look! Carol got her Old 301. It's rebuilt, stripped, and painted from her old ugly tan to a beautiful metallic blue. I was so proud. She works, and I haven't named her yet. She's beautiful. It's a long bed too, huh? Oh, so beautiful. I love it. I hope you enjoy every stitch on her. Lou says, I gave my nieces each a quilt reservation last Christmas so they could be part of the process. I recently finished the one for my oldest niece. She picked the pattern she wanted and most of the fabrics. I had to make a couple slight adjustments, but here is the final finished project. Bobby said she thinks it was 2 threads on the lettering. She did it a while back. Melissa made a quilt coat during a sewing class with the Combat Quilter. Oh, by the way, this is from July 17th. I was going to say, I thought we saw that already. All right, let's refresh the screen and see if we've got any new posts that have come in. You guys have been sharing a lot tonight. I love it. We'll pass that. We'll pass that. We'll pass that. Oh, here's a new one. This is the 2025 Quilt Along from Norma. We'll pass that one. We saw that. Ooh, here's a new one. A mini Holland bag from Renee. Renea? I'm chopping your name. I'm sorry. It's late. I'm tired. Katie is sharing some things that she's making for her nephew who is starting law school. Alma made a Harry Potter quilt. It is out. It started that. I can't read anymore. My eyes are crossing. I'm just going to show the pictures and ooh and ah. And we're back to some stuff that looks like we've already done it. All right. I think that is enough show and tell tonight. Let's go back to the face camera. How are we doing on the giveaways? It looks like the giveaways are all done. We've got Mary has picked the winner. It looks like Tina Card 9573 is the winner. So Tina, make sure that you just type something in the chat so she can see that you're here. And then once we get your confirmation, then we can go ahead and finish. Bobby says, that wasn't my post, but I did the same print a while back. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Oh, by the way, yeah. Let's just give Tina a moment to make sure that she is here in the chat. Tina, let us know that you're here. And Deborah Mass, MAAS 6987. Mary, just let me know in the chat when you're all done pulling winners so that we can end the live stream. Both Deborah Mass, MAAS 6987, and Tina Card 9573. If you are in the chat, please type in the chat to let us know that you're there. I'm going to have some of my peach lemonade. I'm cold again. Time to put my jacket back on. I'll put it on long enough just to take it off. I didn't wash my hair today. I didn't even rinse it out. And that always does it for me. I don't know if anybody else has that same issue, but if I don't rinse my hair or wash it, my head gets hot, so then I want like a fan or something on me to cool me down, but then the rest of my body gets cold. And so I end up putting my jacket on to warm up, and then I get too hot. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. All right, looks like Mary has drawn all 3 winners. The Davina is the third one, Davina Borlick. If your name was called tonight, please make sure that you email Mary with a physical mailing address at mary@sewbecca.com, and she will get a special mystery package out in the mail to you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I had a blast. I'm pretty sure that this quilt is going to be pieced over this weekend. So come back next week to see the top all assembled, and bring 3 yards of 3 different 1-yard cuts, and we'll work on a 3-yard quilt together. Those are so fun and they're so easy to do. And I feel like I can usually start and finish in a live stream, or at least make good enough progress that I can finish it over the weekend. Thanks, friends, for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys all next week. Love each and every one of you. I don't know what else to say. Better late than never. I'm ripping the Band-Aid. Good night.